Hey, Southern California hikers, how's it going? Well, we've made it to midterm, and it brings us to our last program development, which is your nutrition element. And so I just want to give you a few guidelines. This, like the other programs that you've developed, your activity and your relaxation and your sleep, this program is yours. It is something you will decide to do. It'll be something that you will practice and record each day, just like your other programs. The idea in this class is to have balance in at least the four activities that we've chosen that would give you the best control over your life. And believe it or not, what you eat, you tend to be a little bit more, and it's kind of hard to imagine, but there's a lot of truth to it. There's a lot of diets, keto, paleo, all kinds of stuff. And so I'm not here to pump one and diss another or anything like that. What I want to do is give some basics so you can develop your own program and have a little bit of understanding of what you're doing. Now, if you're completely satisfied with what you're doing right now, then all you have to do is describe that to me and continue doing it. That's fine. That is your nutrition program. But if there are some questions you have, or if there are some differences you want to make, then let's explore those, and you make some goals just like you have in your steps and in your relaxation and in your sleep patterns that would make you a healthier person. This class is to help give accountability to things that you've wanted to do but just haven't been able to make yourself do, as we all struggle with. Let's look at some basics real quick. All foods are going to be kind of in terms of calories and grams. And when you do your nutritional, if you haven't already, you're going to do a tracking, 3-day tracking. I want it to be during the week and not the weekend, to just give you an idea, a thumbnail sketch of your patterns of eating now. And all you'll do is enter the foods you eat and roughly about how much, and it will compile it all for how many, what percentage of fats and proteins and carbohydrates that breaks down to be. Also, it'll break down several of your vitamin levels and mineral levels of what you're getting. So those are going to be important later on for turning in assignments. This is kind of the last assignment, really, so we want to make it good, and I want to be helpful to help you get a good start doing that. So in your daily charting, you're going to chart total total calories of eating. We know that calories in make for some type of probably weight gain, and calories out some type of weight loss, and so a balance of those keep you in a homeostasis place. And if you want to gain more, you'd want to have more calories, and if you want to lose more, you want to eat less calories. Well, it's a little more complicated than that, but that is a general principle you can kind of go by. Foods are made up of 3 categories: proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, and I just want quickly to talk about each one of those. Your percentages of what you eat of those will kind of determine your program, and maybe just a ballpark balanced program could be 25% carbohydrates, 30% fats, and 40% protein, something like that. And you could kind of maintain and track that. On MyFitnessPal, which is where you'll do your food tracking, just click on that and enter your days that you're going to track and the food that you eat. It'll give you the printouts for that. You'll probably be better off taking screenshots and trying to download that onto Canvas, or give it to me in an email. Either way is going to be just fine. Well, so you have carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Let's talk with the most controversial probably, which is carbohydrates. It is kind of probably the most talked about these days, and so let's talk about it. It's talked about because there's 2 kinds of carbohydrates. One is simple carbohydrate and one is complex carbohydrate. The difference is the amount of fiber that carbohydrate contains. In simple carbohydrates, the fiber has been processed, bleached, or taken out in some form or another, or it just was never in there too well, as in a potato or something that's totally starchy. And these simple carbohydrates are a problem because what they do to the blood sugar levels in your body. Complex carbohydrates have their fibers still attached. It hasn't been taken away, and so it takes longer for these carbohydrates to metabolize in your stomach and through your system, so your blood sugar isn't as readily spiking as much as it would with simple carbohydrates. So what we're hoping for here is an understanding that yeah, the simple carbohydrates just have pretty much no nutritional value, and they affect your body in a whole lot of ways that probably aren't very positive. Number one, when your blood sugar is low, your brain is signaled, and it calls for you know, something to raise the blood sugar. If you let that go very long, or if you are in a habit of fulfilling that call with simple sugars, then that's probably what you're going to go to. And if you wait too long, then the more need there is for an increase in blood sugar, the better simple carbohydrates look to you. And so, you know, down in a handful of M&Ms or a Snickers bar, or even fruit juices or bagels or something that are pretty much strictly simple carbohydrate are going to look really good to you, and they're going to be hard to put aside for something else. What happens when you pump in simple carbohydrates? Your blood sugar spikes, and because it spikes so drastically, your body responds as it's maybe an emergency situation, because if your blood sugar continues to spike that high, it can be big time problems. So the pancreas shoots in insulin to try to buffer down those big spikes in insulin. And it always, if the spike is dramatic, will spike insulin dramatically too. So in other words, too much sugar in the bloodstream is going to elicit too much insulin response. And when insulin comes in, it deals with that high blood sugar problem, and in fact deals with it so well that you sometimes end up bottoming out, feeling like you're lethargic, or you need a nap, or you need more blood sugar increase, so you reach for another Snickers bar or whatever it is. So you have these ups and downs, hills and valleys that can be very steep, and they're quite dangerous and not very healthy. So what we're hoping for here is for that not to happen very much. Also, lots of insulin in your bloodstream will shut down your fat burning cells and the ability of your body to use other forms of energy that is stored when it is needed. And if your insulin has shut down your fat responders in particular, then when you need the energy, the only place you can get it is from more simple sugar, because your insulin has shut down the responses from your fat cells. Fats and proteins tend to level out blood sugar. They don't increase it very much, and so it's much easier to keep under control. Fats have a little bit of their own controversy, not much, but a little bit. If you only eat certain fats, then there can be a problem, particularly if they're all animal fats. I eat animal fats. I don't think there's anything wrong with them, but eating you know, bacon and sirloin steak twice a day for every day is just way too much. If you have it a couple times a week, I don't think there's going to be a problem. But you want to balance that for sure with fats from vegetables. So we can see, you know, things like olive oil, or eating avocados, or you know, just things there is you know, positive oils to eat that really probably would be a little bit better for your body than a lot of the saturated fats you'd get from animal and fats and things. So as long as we keep that in some kind of balance, we'd be in fine shape. Proteins, you can do just about whatever. There are plant proteins. There's great, you know, proteins through both animal and plant sources. So again, it's more the percentages that we want to look for. So your job is to decide what percentages of fats, proteins, and carbohydrates I'm going to eat. What percentage of my carbohydrates are going to be simple versus complex, and what percentage of my fats are going to be saturated versus monosaturated or polysaturated. And so you want to, just be able to read a couple labels and make some decisions. And then when you go out to eat, before long, the practice, just like with your steps and your relaxation and your sleep, will become second nature. But without practice, it's hard to get that down. Okay, so your job is to track 3 days on MyFitnessPal. You'll turn in 3 days of charts for those days that you kept track. You'll also be able to access vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin D, your salt intake, and your potassium intake. Those will be graphs that you will also take screenshots on and turn in. So all that's 5 graphs and 3 days of tracking. Those will be your assignments. Then the written part is going to be your program. And I want your program to consist of how you feel like your relationship with food is now. That's part of your program, is understanding where you are. And then the other part is, what is your actual program? What are your percentages of carbs, protein, and fats you're going to eat on a daily basis? And what is your snacking routine going to look like? And how will you play that in? I would not try to go snack less, because there's just too many opportunities, and too many times the blood sugar does drop a little bit and you do feel hungry. So you have to have a plan for that. Otherwise you have a Snickers bar or a orange juice or something right next, and that's just not going to be a good plan. You need a good plan for how you're going to deal with your snacking. Well, like I said, this is kind of our last program that we need to put into place for the rest of our semester. And once we get through this, and you're going to be set and ready to go to handle your stressors and your anxieties and things with a more healthy body and a mind and spirit ready to go. All right, look forward to keeping in touch with you. Thanks for all you're doing. Your discussions are great. Your journaling is fantastic. The programs you've made for yourselves are good. Remember, this is about you, not about me. I want to give you a good grade, so I'm going to just go with what you are telling me you're doing. But really, this is something that is all about you and your health. Okay? All right. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.